There are people that what they have is important to them more than what they are. That's why we have a government of slogans, of hooligans, wajambazi, thieves. A government of what? Thieves. That one I will say until Jesus come back. We have a government of thieves from the president down. Thieves.
A group of religious leaders has raised concern about the intense political climate which they believe has diverted the country's attention from critical development projects. The church is now taking a firmer stance, highlighting areas where it feels the government has fallen short after being accused of blindly supporting the current administration for the past 2 years. Church leaders have criticized President William Ruto's tax strategy, arguing that it is making life difficult for citizens. They have also expressed concern over the confusion surrounding the transition from the National Health Insurance Fund to the Social Health Insurance Fund.
We know wherever there is a priest and wherever there is a parish, there are many other activities which come up. Schools, hospitals, and all other basic aspects of human life that come up. We want to encourage that as we are doing this, we work hand in hand even with our governments so that we are alleviating the situation of our suffering people instead of having to make them pay more and more to enable them to contribute towards the building of the nation by reducing their taxes and helping them to have what they can have as possible so that we grow as human persons. Taxes are going very high, and it is not the first time we are talking about it. We have asked again and again that the government should look into other ways to subsidize the taxes so that people will also contribute towards the building of a nation, because once the taxes are very high, people will have nothing even to contribute towards the building of a nation. So we want to ask the government and many people who are concerned with the finance issues to think of many other ways that can alleviate the lives of the people in the whole Kenya and also here. And to say better things can be done, especially when we look at the situation of the people who are the poor, who are staying in the fringes of life, and they need our support from the church and support from the government. Once the government raises the taxes, even the church also, which is actually whose property and whose riches is the poor people, the church will have nothing to support and help the government to grow. So let us look and concentrate on the issue of alleviating the situation with the suffering people, the poor in Kenya. Let the government look at better ways. If it means to review, let them review the bills so that it looks a better way of alleviating the poverty and the standards of people who are living, so that it can be part and parcel of helping the government to grow. Because the more you put higher the salaries, the more you put higher the taxes, then nothing people will give. And that will be doing nothing even as a government. So look at the standards that people can live in and say we are also participating and helping our country to grow.
Catholic Church Archbishop Philip Nyoro has called for sobriety and challenged the three arms of government to clarify their roles to prevent plunging the country into crisis. He noted that the transition from NHIF to H to SHIF has caused major confusion and the political class has lost sight of its responsibility, championing the interest of Kenyans and prioritizing matters close to the hearts of the citizens. Anglican Church Archbishop Jackson Olsapit also called on the government to reduce wastage rather than increase taxation, stating that if taxpayer funds were used efficiently, the government would not struggle to provide key services to Kenyans. Sapit warned that the country is facing an imminent financial crisis, cautioned the government against increasing taxation. He called for the rejection of the finance bill, which President Ruto shelved after nationwide protests.
The church is not a competitor with the government. So we will not play the opposition role, because that's not our role. Our role is complementary. And we have programs that complement what government efforts are. And even when we challenge or criticize, we don't criticize to bring our government down. We criticize to make it better. That's the difference between the opposition and the church. Because an opposition will want to bring the government down, but the church will want to make every government stronger, because ours is to make the government of the day more stronger by pointing out to them what we feel they need to do better to make Kenyans better. But let me say lastly, we speak for the people of Kenya who cannot speak for themselves. And that's why we sometimes are confused, even from by the same politicians, that when we speak for the people of Kenya, and another politician spoke the same language as I spoke, they say I'm his mouthpiece. We are not anybody's mouthpiece. We speak for Kenyans, not for any political party or anybody. Thank you. May God bless you.
Befa Church Bishop John Okinda also criticized the government's tax strategy, labeling it as likely to plunge Kenyans into poverty. He urged President Ruto to implement tax strategies that are more favorable to citizens, urging that the current ones are both unpopular and unfair. He emphasized that the importance of the government listening to public concerns. He asserts that the government must accommodate these interests as it was elected to serve the people, not to complicate their lives. Faith Evangelistic Ministry founder Tricia Werimu, who has been seen as a supporter of the president, expressed disappointment that the government she once viewed as divinely ordained has dissolved into government of fights.
All the way till now, I have always been thinking that this government is a government of God.
Kwa maana wakati huu wote nilikuwa nafikiria serikali hii ni serikali ya Mungu.
Because it's the one we voted for.
Kwa maana ndio tulioichagua.
To our embarrassment.
Lakini kwa aibu yetu,
it's a government of fight.
Ni serikali ya vita.
I was so concerned.
Nilikuwa na hisia sana.
And I know the politicians in this house, you get disappointed with me today.
Na najua wanasiasa katika nyumba hii mtaweza
kusikia
badala yetu sisi
majoring on the things that concern us, the economy of the nation, how we can build ourselves, how we can do this, how we can have better health systems.
Husika na mambo ya maana kama kujenga uchumi wetu.
You arm yourselves. Without not giving us a notice. We are also going to arm ourselves in prayer,
katika maombi,
because now we are returning. Can I say something?
Wacha niseme kitu.
Most of us ladies, we may wear makeups, but one thing we are not good at.
Wengi wetu tunaweza kuvaa vipodozi, lakini kuna kitu ambacho
siwa. TV, Mr. Gary knows this. When you buy a TV, a decoder, we have a problem.
Tunayo shida
of reading instructions.
Ya kusoma maelezo.
So those who are of you are married, you are ever asking your husband, how do you fix it? How do you do
wale ambao wameolewa kila wakati tunauliza mabwana zetu.
Yet you have a manual book.
Na pia una kitabu cha maelezo.
Women are not very good in manual books.
Pengine hatujui kusoma vitabu vya maelezo.
My question is,
swali langu ni hili.
The government of the day.
Serikali ya siku.
We have heard about the foundation.
Tumesikia kuhusu misingi.
If the foundation of this nation and this government is God,
iwapo msingi
why don't you return to the manual book?
Mbona usirejee katika kitabu cha maelezo?
So you can fix what you can't fix.
Ili uweze kutengeneza kile ambacho huwezi kutengeneza.
As a voter, I'm embarrassed.
Kama mpiga kura ninaaibika sana.